looking proper X. Yeah, you be lying, tell her drop under the fucking text. House keep dripping, but I'm never rocking Montage.
Used to walk up with my Sprite, turn it gelinade. Too many bitches in my line, I need some pepper spray. Me and Esther in a cup, the cushions having me. I'm smoking backwards, I'm rolling backwards like that wedding cake. Hey, you got a pub, but what the fuck you got? Is it Cali? Is it England? What's that what you got? Kissing Mary Jane, did she love me? Not you smoke dog pebbles, and you smoke another Scotty rocks.
Before we get into this tutorial, I want to give a quick feature to my Discord server, which gives you some early access to some of the designs that I release and quick sneak peek on bases to come or bases that you might never see posted. It gives you updates on announcements, and it's a nice community for you to chat about and make requests about things you might want to see next in my YouTube channel. Be sure to check it out, and the link to join is in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, as it helps push the algorithm and it helps grow the channel a ton. Hope you enjoyed. On screen now, you can see the main TC upkeep along with the total build cost of the entire base if you make it entirely out of stone. This includes deployables such as vending machines, doors, G-doors, etc. Anyways, onto the run through. Alright folks, so welcome to the White Room. As you already know, this base has 6 external TCs. Coming in over here, we've got some nice peaks looking out the sides of the entrances, and here's our TC upkeep here. For each external, it is identical. Coming in, we've got some pretty nice peaks looking in and out of the compound. And stepping in a little bit further, we've got the base, obviously, and we've got one of 12 turrets. 6 of them being optional, like on the breach peak here. We've got these peaks looking back towards the gatehouse, offering nice visibility. Coming in, we have our funnel wall here, 2 doors. They both airlock. And coming in now through our entrance, we've got a nice little peak here that looks out into compound, more specifically the wall, which they're most likely to breach. Coming in right here, we've got 2 peaks looking in, holding the funnel. Right here is an optional turret that you can place but isn't necessary. Right here, this holds more of the entranceway. This peak here looks out into the gatehouse section of your compound. And jumping up right here, we've got a wizard peak that looks out into your compound of that like entire section, so to speak. Coming in now, we have our worst shell, our lower shell. But before we get to that, we have some peaks that look into our lower shell. Now in the lower shell, we also have this breach peak here that has a nice view on your front door, so that if you're getting door path, it's an easy hold. Coming up, we've got another retake peak right here. And wrapping around us, you've got the second floor shell, if you will, with our jump ups here on the sides, on 3 sides. So this is 3-sided symmetry. And coming in, we have our 3rd floor with some basic stuff with some really nice angles here to hold your entrances so that you can retake them easily. Same thing on the other side. Some storage here on 2nd floor, and coming down to core, we have some peaks here looking onto the entrance. And coming in, we have a Patrico here holding the drop down, and another Patrico here that you can't die to HV to. And coming into the main core TC, we have right there, main TC upkeep was shown earlier. And we have another peak right here that holds the front entrance, which would also be difficult to HV PvP you in. This right here also airlocks, but as we keep coming up again, we have another peak here that also looks into the doorway, and that's the same on the other side. Right here we have another Patrico peak that holds our exits onto the 4th floor. Got a couple of respawns here. Feel free to place whatever deployables you see fit. Coming out into this shell, we have some shell storage. We have our ladder chute here. This takes us into one of the lower shell retakes, which gives you some visibility back into lower shell and even out of the shell into your main outer shell. Coming back up, we've got our jump up here that we spoke of earlier, which also has some nice Patrico peaks looking onto the 3rd lower shell, or 3rd shell if you will, which also looks onto our exit into our 1st shooting floor. Coming in, we've got some nice peaks looking down, holding our front entrance, and just overall great visibility around the entire shell, and some nice peaks looking down into compound 2. Right here we've got another cheeky little peak that looks onto the high walls, so that when they're trying to push in, it's an easy hold. Right here we've got another ankle here that gives you more cross-sighted sight onto the high wall, and some outer sight here that looks out away from the base. Very difficult to shoot you in these angles. Wrapping back around, we've got another peak right here that looks onto your gatehouse. As you can see here. And we've also got 2 peaks on the side here that give some pretty decent visibility into your compound. Now coming back in, and through our jump up, this takes us up to our final floor here, with a battery spot here on the left, some bed spots here, and a Patrico peak that looks into your main shop area. Got some locker spots here, and we've got our exit here that kicks you out onto your 2nd floor shooting floor, if you will. Got some nice breach peaks here that look out onto your gatehouse, look out away from the base. The usual deal. And right here we've got one of the better peaks that you'll probably be using frequently when defending in this base. This has some anti-siege peaks so that you can't be shot through fobs while looking into your compound. Right here we've got another peak that gives you some nice visibility and some cheeky angles onto your compound, and another angle looking out and down from the base without being visible to fobs. Coming in here, we've got a bedroom here you can place beds for. We got some angles here that look into your jump up and shooting floor in case raiders are running around in there. And coming up, we've got another Patrico peak on roof. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some more of these retakes here. You have very good visibility all around your roof. And you've got 3 spots for shops here with some more storage right beside them. And now coming all the way up to roof, we've got our SAMs here, 3 of them to be precise, and we have our roof turrets. which is 6 of them in total. These cover your entire roof, so no need to worry about blind spots. Coming up with this first section here, you've got some peaks that look down into your compound or away from the base. You got some more peaks here that look around the sides of your base and right down onto those high walls there. Cheeky angle that is right here. Some more angles right here that look across your compound. Right here you have some anti-siege peaks so that raiders can't shoot you while you're shooting at people close to your compound. And a searchlight here so that you can easily pan and view during the nighttime if you're defending in night raids. Right here is also where the waterfalls are, 6 of them. 6 sides with 12 waterfalls, 2 on each side. And this spits you out right onto your gatehouse. Coming back around, we've got some basic ramp peaks right here. Nothing too crazy. Gives you some nice visibility. And right here we have some more angles here that you can look down from the other peaks in the shooting floor. And you've got some more angles here, looking down into your compound and looking out towards your externals on the sides of your base. Once again, you have your searchlight here, 12 of them, 1 on each side, and your anti-siege peak right there. And that right there, folks, wraps up the run through the white room. Now let's get on to the tutorial. Alright, so starting off with your starter here, we're gonna build it like so. Feel free to upgrade to whatever you see fits, whatever your resources allow. I will just be doing what makes sense to me. Putting a doorway right here for a battery, and our TC goes into the corner right here. Expanding off this, we have our hex and fill in the squares. While they're in, all around, all sides. Frames along the center. Once again, upgrade to what you can see. Once again, upgrade to what you have. Right here is where the Draco goes. Here you could put barrels or a furnace. Right here is going to be your jump up out of the core. And right here is going to be your other retake / holding angle to hold your entrance if you're taking a door pod. Now let's put a roof on all of it. And just another quick little run through of what the full starter looks like. Coming onto our second floor, we're going to be turning on 6-sided symmetry. Once again, 6-sided symmetry. Building it like so. Highly recommend sheeting this layer. And this is what the footprint's looking like so far. Coming back down, we're going to stay on 6-sided. And we're going to start building our outers for teams that like to get their compound up early game. Here, this is where your funnel footprint's going to be built on. You can see it above here. Get rid of these squares, build out, make sure these side triangles are wood. Right here, we're going to be putting the breach peak later on. And we're going to upgrade all of this to stone. Of course, sheet metal would be better, but upgrade to whatever you have. Coming off this side, we're doing 5 squares out, building back off the square, not adding a triangle on the tip like some of you like to do. And we're going to round that over with triangles. And just fix that. Coming off here, we got 3 more squares, and then this is where our gatehouse is going to be. Coming another 3 off, right here is going to be where our external TC goes, one of the 6 to be exact. Upgrade this roof to sheet metal so that it's 8 rockets from all around. Put a door on this, and we're going to throw down our TC here. Right here is going to be our retakes that looks out of the compound down this side. And this is what it looks like from above right now. Right here, you want to make sure this is connected to main base, otherwise it will decay. So we're just going to reconnect it like so. Make sure that the floor above here is wood, as that is how you disconnect it in order to replace your external TCs. Otherwise, you will not, as they act as anti-siege. Coming back over to our external TCs, we're going to be adding the peaks now that I spoke of earlier. And I'll be placing only embrasures throughout this build. So if you need to reference the base for deployables whatsoever, the builder sanctuary code will be in the description of the video. Anyways, continuing on to our gatehouse, we've got the windows here. Be sure to build it like so. If you don't want to have it be wood, then don't have it be wood. Upgrade it to whatever you'd like. Put a ramp here so that you can get a better angle on some of the peaks. And right here we're going to leave that frame as wood, as it's only going to be a fence. Right here we put a ramp so that people can't look into it from the top. And let's put on this chain link real quick here. And once again, this is going to be on all 6 sides since we have 6-sided symmetry. Place your tray like so, and we're going to come over to the hex right here, and we're going to put our breach peak on it now. You can do a horizontal embrasure in the middle if you'd like. This is where one of the turret spots goes, as mentioned in the run through earlier. However, you can leave this as a vertical embrasure if you'd like instead, if you do not have the DLC. Make sure to place your high wall as I do here. Take your time with this part. And then building some twig to get up here. We're gonna start placing our barricades now. Coming up onto the gatehouse over here. Be sure to place them as I do here, as this ensures the best coverage with your barricades. And that's your compound done. Here's a look at it from above. And now we'll come back down and start building up the main base more. Switching over to 3-sided symmetry. We're going to come off this corner here, as I do. Off this corner. And that's replicated on 3 sides. And be building the half wall, low wall here for the peaks that look out into your outer shell later on. And our windows here for those embrasure peaks that look into that angle. Here you want to make this armored so that you're not in easy 2 walls. Obviously it's not 2 walls if you're getting pummeled. Here you can leave this as furnaces if you don't have the bamboo DLC, but whatever works as a jump up is also preferably fine. Upgrade this to sheet metal so that you have solid honeycomb, and then right here we're going to add our depot storage right here, right above our entrance to the base. Coming down over here into the honeycomb section of the base, this is where one of the breach peaks are going to be. That offers angles that look back into the lower shell. You want to make sure you build it as I do, in the order that I do, so that you do not get fucked by a missing ramp. So that you do not mess up and place a ramp where it doesn't let you place a floor. Adding this honeycomb in now. I'm gonna just add a roof on this. Add your grills. You don't want an AK falling down that. I come from experience. Anyways, let's add our embrasures here. Right here is your peak that looks out into your entrance of the outer shell. Here you want to make sure you wall this in. And now we'll come down to this side here, which is where one of the respawns are going to be, where the ladder chute takes you down to. Once again, make this armored. And then we're going to be building this side like so. Right here now we're going to be adding our other set of breach peaks. Making sure you build it in the order that I built it. If you have a hard time accessing the floor that I placed here, just turn down your look at radius in your console menu. Be sure to crouch if you have a hard time placing these embrasures. And don't forget to roof this part off right here. And on the other side too. Right here we're going to be adding our window on the bed respawn that looks back into the outer shell and into the lower shell. We're going to be roofing this off, making sure it's hard side facing us. And right here we're going to do 2 walls just so that ladder can sit on there nicely later on. Put a half wall, just floor that off. And then we're going to have our doorway here, which is going to be a jump up later on. And now we could just wall all of this in like so. Here's a look at it from above. And coming back down, we're going to turn off symmetry here to work on the center of the base. This is where the main, sort of speak, loot room is going to be. The second floor loot room with quite a few boxes in it. Coming off of the center here from the drop down, you want to make sure you build these windows right in the same place that I do, so that you don't screw over your entrances. These shelves don't need to be sheet, but if you'd like to, that's fine. Once again, make sure you build these windows like I do. Otherwise the peak won't work as intended. Right here we want to make these ramps stone instead of wood because if a raider hits wall, they have to raid the ramp as well. We're going to do the same thing on this side here. And we're going to add our window here. We can put furnaces on. And just put frames and roof off the rest of it. We're gonna upgrade this to armored so we make the top down cost as hard as possible. And so that we increase the defendability of the base from a top down path. Now that we're done with that floor, we're gonna come up this way, building the jump up as I do, so as to make defending easier. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side here, making sure we put a window. Let me change that on this side. And we're gonna put our floors here with the window or the doorway. And I'm just gonna upgrade these frames to stone. But like I said, you could do whatever you have. I'm gonna throw out a window and a horizontal embrasure. We do a horizontal because you're typically gonna be face checking at that distance, obviously, so you don't need the vertical to crouch. Right here is where our next jump up is gonna be. We're gonna put a low wall here in a frame as a way to get up. We're gonna make this stone. We're gonna make this ramp wood. Do not make it stone or you will decrease your visibility and split the trick up. Coming on up. This is just a normal jump up with a shelf so you can seal it like so. Put another horizontal embrasure here as another Petrica, which will look out into your other shell later on. Put another ramp here if you'd like, completely optional. And we're going to do the same thing right here. We're going to be walling in this backside as we will be putting a battery spot and a couple of respawns with some furnace spots here or locker, whatever you see fit. Right here is going to be our exit onto the upper shell. And we're just going to put frames all over this. We're going to sheet this so that it's not so easy to work around the door path instead of actually taking the door path. Here we're going to frame this up and throw a roof on top of all of it. Coming back down. We're going to put some windows on here. And let's take a look at it from the outside. And now that that section's built, we're gonna come back, turn on 6-sided symmetry just to throw on these frames real quick, make life easier for me. And then we're gonna throw a roof on this, make this metal so that they don't try to go up on the door path. And then right here, we're gonna build off the jump up that was mentioned earlier. That's right above the bed respawns. Right here's a locker spot, but you can obviously do whatever you see fit. Here we're gonna wall this off, and we're gonna add a loot room here. And then right next to this loot room, we're gonna be adding our jump up on both sides, like so. Place this embrasure here, as this is going to be our Patrica that looks up. We're going to switch back to 6-sided real quick and fill in these frames. And once again, we're going to upgrade this to sheet metal so they don't try to take a shortcut around the door path. Now we're going to build our jump up right here. Like so. And then beside the jump up right here, we're going to be putting our exit onto our first shooting floor. Exit slash entrance. And then right beside that, we're going to be putting our next loot room that's on the outer shell. To make this wood. And right here now we can throw our exit from the ladder so you can get up. And beside that, we're going to be putting our jump up so that we can get onto our roof. We're going to switch to 6-sided once again just to make life easier with frames. And we're going to upgrade all of this to sheet instead, actually. And then switching back to 3-sided, we're going to add our jump up here now. Like so. Make sure it's facing the same direction. Let's take a look at it from above. And now we can start working on our shell a little bit. Coming all the way out, we're going to be placing these frames here. These are just going to act as a frame to narrow down the peak so that it's harder for raiders to shoot you through your embrasure. Same reason for the low wall. The embrasures facing inwards as I do here. And now we're gonna start working on the breach peak that looks in the funnel. These half walls below are optional, but I would recommend just to make it harder for raiders if they're pummeling. Pop it off like I do here. And we're going to place our floor grills once again. And we're going to wall it off up there like I do. Right here, we're just going to build up some of these frames early on, just so you know where they are going to be placed. This section right here with the triangle is where the funnel door goes. There's shotgun trap and single door. And that goes on both sides. Now working on this wide gap section here that's connected to the gatehouse, we're going to be building it like so. Keep this window here as it's going to be a great retake for your shell if you're ever getting raided and raiders have control of it. Right here, place the embrasures as I do, so as to maximize visibility. And right here is where our wizard peak is gonna go. Let's place these frames real quick. We're gonna do a half wall and a full wall facing us right here. And then make sure to put 2 frames right here as I do. And then have this skin to the default stone skin so that it's harder for people to see you through the wizard peak. Place some campfires here so it's easier to get angles, get creative with the angles on it. And then we're just gonna roof it off right here. Wall it up like so. And we're gonna build our frames up for later. Off the corners of the wide gap. Be sure to do it as I do here. And once again, if you have a hard time keeping up, the builder sync code is in the description. Let's take a look at it from the outside. And coming in, we're gonna add some of the touch-ups. Right here, you want to make sure you place these 2 frames. These will add a layer of protection to several angles later on. Coming up to our shooting floor, we're going to place frames like so. Make sure you place these frames before you place the square wood frame that I did earlier. Otherwise, you'll have to delete them like I did here. Minor mistake. And right here, we're going to do a half wall. And we're not going to put a floor on this because there's going to be a ramp here as shown earlier. Once again, we're going to place our frames here. Put that square frame back in its rightful place. And we're going to build this section as I do. Half wall right here, although you can do a full wall if you'd like. Make that metal to increase visibility. We're going to be placing the floors like I do here. And this is the first part that you can see those wood frames take action. We're going to drop down right here real quick to place the frames. This is where one of the breach peaks are going to go. One of the many. And place a horizontal embrasure on the front. Right here, this can be a half wall as you won't be able to look up into it anyways later on. Now we're just gonna roof it off like so. And that's your first shooting floor done. Let's take a look at it from the outside. And coming back over here to the shooting floor, this is where the main peak that I spoke of earlier is going to be. Make sure you do a frame here and throw a box down so you can get a better vertical angle looking down into the compound. Have this embrasure facing inwards or else you won't see nothing. Other bridge peak here. And we're gonna do a low wall here and a couple of frames on the sides, as I do. And we're gonna place our embrasures and the triangle floor here, extra turret spot. Here we can do low walls. This will be another retake. And some more frames here on the side. And that's your second shooting floor done. Let's just build up these frames real quick. I'm doing it here with no clip just to make life easier for me. But of course this can be done in any normal server. Switching over to three-sided symmetry now on the center of our base. We're going to be building off of these jump ups here on the sides. Making sure we have a single door for our battery here. Wall this off right here on both sides. And then right here is going to be our jump up. That's going to take us to our roof. Building it like so. Right here is going to be one of the 3 shooting floor respawns. I have this embrasure facing inward. And then coming back towards the center, looking over towards our drop down right here, we're going to be placing a window. This is where your little shop. This is where your little shop section is going to be. Now coming over towards the jump up side, we're going to put our half walls here. This is going to be the retakes onto roof, which also adds as the honeycomb / pancake layer on top. Right here we're going to frame this off. Now we're going to be coming up here, adding that pancake layer. Add our frames here for the shop. And fill it in like so. Put the triangles here so you can put boxes and then just add a roof on top. Right here we add a ramp. To make it harder to sit in one angle. And then we're going to roof it off like so. And then right here we're just going to finish building the jump up real quick with another shop spot right here. And we're going to build a drop down like so. Let's fill in these sides real quick. Once again, this is the bed spot. And this is a look at it from the outside. Switching over to 6-sided symmetry again now. We're going to be adding in these frames here so as to narrow down that peak on the shooting floor. And we're going to be adding this wood ramp here as this is the waterfall that was mentioned in the run through. Switching back to 3-sided real quick. I'm just going to fill in this roof. And coming back now to 6-sided symmetry, we're going to finish building the roof. Building a frame here and a half wall here, so that you could place the ramp. We're going to build it like so. Place a frame here, add extra stability that way. And upgrade this to sheet so you have maximum visibility. This right here, we could just leave as wood, because it's not that detrimental if it gets broken. Right here, we're going to be adding our more anti-siege peaks here. And now we're going to be building our frames for the fence and searchlights are going to go. And then above that, we're going to be putting our turret. The turret gets placed like so. And we're going to be putting windows down right here with vertical embrasures and a box, so that you could get a nice vertical angle into compound. Coming over to this side, we're just going to put windows. This room can be left wood. And we're going to add our frames here. For the stone. This is where wind turbines are going to go. Once again, another searchlight. And place the turbine inside here. We're going to do low wall here, upgrade that to wood, it doesn't need to be stone. And we're going to add our stone ramp right here. And that right there wraps up the design, folks. This is the white room. Once again, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, as it helps push the video out to more people. Hope you enjoyed.